Yes, IAP Nordic. Alberto Hylander, there's a good combination of Spanish and Swedish blood here. EU project coordinator at the International Association of Accessibility Professionals, very long name. And I'm working for the European Union, working for IAP Nordic and IAP EU. And we have here Malin.
Hi. Also a long company name, because my company's name is Sigma Technology Digital Solutions. So we kind of have that going for us today.
And before, we are going to answer two questions today. We are going to try to answer to these two questions. Why should I certify myself in accessibility? And why does IAP make the certificate? How does IAP make certification exam accessible? And before I let you, Malin, start with your presentation, I would like to say that I did a very short introduction of IAAP. IAAP is a non-for-profit membership-based organization that works basically with promoting and improving the accessibility profession all around the world. And we do that by means of two different pillars, which is certifications and the membership, which is through networking and education. But yeah, Malin, the floor is yours.
So Alberto asked me to tell me what I certified myself. So it's very scary. Today I will talk about myself. I usually talk about issues other than myself. But I'm from Gothenburg, and in Gothenburg, accessibility isn't as big as here in in Sweden. Anyway, in Stockholm, I got all confused here. Yeah, so because in Gothenburg we were all very automatic driven, and my first assignment when I come across accessibility, actually when I was a consultant at a company in Stockholm more than 10 years ago. And it was love at first sight. I couldn't understand why we weren't doing accessibility in every project all the time, because it made so much sense. Inclusiveness. Everybody should have access to digital content. Why not? And I kept working with it in Gothenburg, but my voice wasn't really heard. It was a young occupation. Not many was doing it. People were no-house and said that they could do accessible stuff and did horrible things at times. And I didn't understand really how would I make my mark? How could my word mean more? So when I heard about IAAP and their certifications, it was like, yeah, this is it. This is what I need to do. So I read up on what the certifications combined. They had two. One was called the Core, CPAC. It stands for Certified Professional within Accessibility Core Competency. And the other one was VAS, which is Web Accessibility Specialist. And they have really, really nice body of knowledge on the web, which I can recommend to everyone, even if you don't want to get certified, because they are packed with interesting information and links where you can deepen your knowledge even more. And I read the body of knowledge, and I thought, yeah, CPAC is the one. This is why I love accessibility. This is why I love inclusion. I need to do this one. So I started studying, and I'm dyslexic. So when I study in a very unsustainable way. I print stuff because I want to read it on paper. So I printed kind of the entire web. It felt like I had and I brought it with me on the tram, which we have in Gothenburg, to and from work. It was about a quarter to work and a quarter home. And I read for about 3 to 5 months. I read my web in paper format. And then I felt, yeah, let's do this exam. So I did it online. It was a very scary process because it was before the pandemic, and online things were apparently very strange back then. So I had a camera looking at my hands and a camera looking at my face, and yeah. And someone telling me every time I lifted my hands, please put your hand back on the keyboard. Okay, I'm back. It's not like that anymore, I've heard. And I passed. I was angry because I didn't have 100%, but I passed. And the thing that happened was that I got more confident. So when I said things, I said more assuredly, because I knew what I was talking about. But also, people started listening because I had some kind of proof that I actually knew what I was talking about. So people believed in what I was saying. And not only that, my company actually started winning really exciting, I think it's called tenders. And also, other companies came to us and said, we heard that Malin knows about accessibility, and we really want to do this cool project. Do you want to do it? So I got to do like how to make events more, sporting events, more inclusive. So we looked at digital solutions for people with lower eye vision and people with lower hearing. I got to check out how can we make an active spare time for teenagers and young adults with accessibility needs. So if I hadn't certified myself, I wouldn't have had this possibility. So for me, it was a great game changer. I later, about a year later, also took the VAS exam, which just went on kind of, but probably in an unsustainable way as well. So to sum it up, I think read the body knowledge because they are really good and inspiring and filled with interesting deep dive links. And study in every way that floats your boat. You don't need to be unsustainable. You can probably listen to things at YouTube or reading them online as well, or going the very nice courses that there are. There are loads of courses. I heard someone went the deck way, I call it, and Access Lab has good courses as well. And Funka, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my employer is Funka, by the way. But I'm not here to promote Funka or our courses in accessibility. But thank you, Malin, and that's the reason why. I'm going to talk a little bit about the certifications, but I thought that it was better to hear from one person who has been certified, has nothing to do with me or with my organization, to give you an idea of why this is good. And actually connected to what Frida, I don't know what Frida is now, but about the content, well, I think this is really a spot on what she was explaining and the difficulties. But I'm here today to talk about how IAAP makes the examinations actually accessible. Malin, she has already talked a lot about the professional certifications. I want to say that our certifications are professional, and they are certifications. Means they are no certificate. A certification is a different thing. A certification is something you need to keep alive. That means it comes with an out of date, and you have the possibility to renew or to keep your certification if you want to. The good thing about they're professional. That means that you need to have previous experience, work experience before you can take the certifications. The good thing about our certifications, our IAAP certifications, they are globally recognized, and they're recognized by this Institute of Credentialing Excellence, which is actually one of the, if not the only, but one of the one that was globally recognized and specialized on accrediting organizations that provide accreditation suppliers as IAAP. As Malin was mentioned before, in our website you have access to the Open Knowledge Bank, which is this body of knowledge. You have access to free courses or material to study those parts of you see in the body of language that you need maybe to focus. But there are these accredited training providers that you can find information about. And this one is DQ, this Funka. Then if you become a member of IAAP and the different type of memberships, for the first level that Malin was mentioning before, the core competencies, there are free course provided by Princeton University, a preparatory course, for members. For non-members, you have to pay for that one. And then when it comes to take the examination, you can do it online or on-site, or either at your company. There are a group of colleagues that want to take, and this is happening a lot in Sweden, group of colleagues that want to take the examination together. You can do it on your workplace. And why is getting a certification? Well, I don't know what to say besides what Malin was saying, but it's a proof of your competence. But also for companies, it's a way of recruiting people. People with these certifications, and I hear this from all Europe, they are more likely to be hired by IT companies. But our goal, as you can say, is to increase accessibility, but even in our certifications. So when you have decided to take the exam, you have submitted your application online, and then they have an individual evaluation of your application. The time comes to take the exam. So what we do at IAAP is to make sure that the venue is accessible for everybody. And for those that they cannot or they prefer taking the exam at home, there's possibility for that. You can do it on your own computer, or we have an agreement with the Crypterium Test Center. We have, not in Stockholm, but in Gothenburg. But we are working now in Stockholm to get to open, because with the pandemic it closed. But now we have one in Gothenburg, so you can take the exam at the center. Test center. Do you need any kind of assistive technology? You can bring your own. As long as you inform IAAP beforehand that you need that kind of assistive technology, you are welcome. It can be a screen reader, screen magnification, text-to-speech, or any kind of input devices. What happens if you need extra time? Right now in the Nordics, we just offer these examinations in English. We are working, well, IAAP has different chapters in other parts of Europe, and then we are working on translating. Now in German, you can take the exams in German. We are working in Spanish, because also for Latin America. But for non-native English speakers, you have the possibility of getting extra time for the exam. Or if you need more time because you have any kind of condition or disability. And not only that, you need extra support. As soon as you inform IAAP beforehand, you can get a sign language interpreter, or you need like service animals, or as I mentioned before, if it's easier for you to get a private proctoring, which is taking the exam at home. That is also possible. But in that case, you need a person. Either it's an IAAP staff, like myself, or another person is actually monitoring that you're not cheating. And with that, I want to say that we really strive for making diversity not only about service and product, but also among our certificates. And here you have our contact information, so you have any questions about certifications, memberships, benefits. You are more than welcome to email me, or I'm very active on LinkedIn. So just feel free to add me or ask me questions as you wish. Thank you.